This is Jackie Markham talking with Marge Shatke on the 11th of November 2018, and we're sitting in her sitting room at Ryecroft. Marge, can you tell me your birthday and where you were born as a start?
On the 5th of January 1931.
Where? Lugg?
Oh, Lugg Green Road, on the Lugg Green Road, yes.
And how old were you when you came here to Ryecroft?
I think I was about 3. Yeah, and my father moved some furniture from the house to come down here to Ryecroft, and I followed behind with my teddy bear, I think I had, yeah.
And this was a house that belonged to the family,
Yeah,
your grandparents?
yeah. The house belonged to my grandparents that kept the corners in, yeah.
And did you have brothers, sisters?
I had one brother. I've got one brother and one sister, yeah.
And at that time, as well as the corners being a pub, it also was an abattoir, I believe.
Well, they had a butcher shop on the end, and they made their own cider with the horse, the Dick, I think the horse's name was, and it used to go round and round and make the cider, and we were children and just used to go and watch him going round and round in the thing that they had, yeah.
And you said the sausages were very good.
They made lovely sausages, yes. Always enjoyed those. And
where did your other groceries and things come from? How did you get your milk?
well, that was with Gladys coming round with her on her bike, and we put the jug outside the door and she used to fill it up with the milk, yeah. But my mind goes back.
And I think you told me you and your mum would walk to Blackhall to get butter.
Yes, when we were short of butter we used to walk up to Blackhall, which was quite a long way away to go, but anyway we used to enjoy doing that. It was
It's all right. And then most of your shopping came from
the shop, yeah.
the big shop.
Yeah. We did all our shopping in the shop in Kingsland here. And in the as far as I can remember, it was Mr. Beale that gave me some bananas for my birthday. I was 5 and I was so pleased about it. Yeah.
And the baker, Jack Price.
Yeah, he was in the baking thing, but he was a lot of time in the shop, helping in the shop. Yeah.
This was Jack Price.
Jack Price. Yeah.
And you said that you always could smell the bread, lovely smell of bread, and the wall was warm by the bakery.
Yeah. Well, by the bakery there was a little pathway up, and it was all the wall was always very warm. And what else?
School. Going to school.
I went to Kingsland School because that wasn't very far to go, because we lived very close to the school, so it was only just over the road. Yeah.
And when the war started, the school had quite a lot of
Yeah.
evacuees.
We had a lot of evacuees. I can remember them all pulling up outside the school. They were bringing them in the 2 or 3 buses, and people were waiting to pick up the children that they were going to have. And then we got to know quite a lot of the evacuees, you know, they used to play together and, yeah. Some lived with Mr. and Mrs. Carlson. So I think some of them are still, you know, about here in one definitely in Hereford, I know, lives there.
You told me that when you first came to Ryecroft with your family, there was no running water. You'd carry your water.
We had to carry. Yes, there was no water in this house when we came here, and it all had to be carried from the pub next door, which was quite a long way to go to fetch water, and. Well, there was nothing here. There was no bathrooms, or the toilet was outside in the garden. And
when did you finally get water? And was it in the 60s that you had an extension?
Yeah, we did. We had an extension put on the house, and we had a bathroom and all the things you need now. So it was very nice then.
Can you tell me where you would play with your friends? And were you allowed to roam around the village?
Yes, we used to roam with my friends, yes. And we used to wander off, and no problem at all. You never used to spend a lot of time down at Pinsley River, and play down there for quite a long time.
And I believe it was at the Lugg that you met your future husband, Werner.
Yeah, and I've met my future husband then, down by the river Lugg, where we all used to go swimming in those days. Sometimes it looked like you were on the seaside because there were so many of them. And he used to come down swimming, and that's where I met him. Yeah.
Can you tell me how he happened to be in Herefordshire?
He was a prisoner of war at Presteigne. And they were asking for Bengries at Shirley's were asking for somebody to come, a mechanical sort of work, and he put his hand up, and he went and lived there with Mrs. Bengry. He lived with Mrs. Bengry at Shirley's for 8 years, and she treated him like her own son. She had 2 other sons, but she treated him just the same. I know he used to take her to chapel to on a Sunday, somewhere away it was she used to go, and he used to take her in the car, and no, he lived there, and very happy there.
Going backwards a little bit in time, how old were you when you left school, Kingsland School?
I was 13 when I left school. I was 14 in the holidays, but when I actually left school, I was 13 years old. And then I used to go to the school to help with the dinners. And then I had a call from Kingsland Sawmills. They were looking for somebody for an office girl. And they asked me if I'd like to go and work there a bit. So I went, and I was there quite a long time.
How long?
Gosh, about... Because I worked 4 years after, before I had Helen, and quite a time. I can't just remember exactly how long, but I was there, and I had very little education, but in the end I used to do the taxes and do most of the things, yeah. And pay the money out and this knows what.
In those days, was the Sawmills very busy?
It was a very busy place, yes, because they used to go out cutting trees down and making coffin boards. We used to do a lot of coffin boards then.
And you remember the overhead? Did they come from Lycroft Bridge and an overhead sort of pulley that had logs on it? You don't remember that? No.
I remember the crane breaking, but they were loading some big trees, and the crane broke, and that was a bit of an upheaval, but it was all sorted out in the end. But,
and in those days, of course, the railway would still be functioning.
My father worked on the railway, Kingsland. He was on the railway at Kingsland, and I used to like going. I used to carry his. Mum used to get his food up, and I used to carry it up, and tea or something, and used to carry it up there. And then the chocolate places that they had, you know, it was a penny for a little bit of chocolate, and that was my treat. Yeah, he was a signalman on the station, yeah.
If you wanted to go in search of sweets when you were little, where would you go?
Mrs. Kelly's, just down the road, yeah. Yeah, Mrs. Kelly.
And then I believe that changed to being a hairdresser?
Yes, and then, yes, after a while when she finished, her hairdresser took the place over, and they were quite busy, their hairdressers there then, yeah.
And you told me before that when you were little, you would stare in the windows of the post office.
Seats. Yeah. At the post office, I used to like standing by the window and watching Mr. Williams pull these, whatever they're called.
They get wires.
Yeah, the wires out, yeah, you know. I used to think that was wonderful, yeah.
The Coronation Hall was opened in 1953. You would be married by then, were you?
Yeah, yes, yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about the opening party.
I'm not saying that.
You're not saying that.
Burn.
Oh. When you were married, which was before that, I believe you were married in Kingsland Church?
Yes.
And then there wasn't really... Oh yes, you came to the Corners Inn?
Yes.
And then what?
And
You went in the... Vern had made a car.
yeah. I've forgotten.
Little red car.
Yeah, we were did I say we were married at Kingsland Church?
Mm-hmm.
I've said that, have I?
No, I said it.
You said it, yeah. I was married at 10 o'clock the wedding was, but that was because we had to get off early. We were going to Germany in a little red car that Vern made spent a lot of time with it, and however we got to Germany with it, I don't know, but we did. We did. And we were over in Belgium going along towards Germany, and a car stopped us. And I said to Vern, have we done something wrong or something? You know, we were stopped. And they stopped because on the back of the car there was a hood thing that came down. They'd written "just married" on the back, and these people stopped us to wish us all the best. You know, they always remember that. So, yeah.
You've really lived here in Kingsland all your life, and in this particular house for most of your life.
Yeah.
But I think people will be surprised to know that in fact you travelled extensively with Vern, didn't you?
We have, yeah. Yeah.
Tell me what you used to do.
Oh gosh, there's so many places. I've got them all written down, how many places we've been to. They would want to know all those. But we've been to, because our son lives in Australia. We've been 7 times to Australia. We used to go every 2 years. So, but apart from that, we've been to lots and lots of other places. We used to take the car over and just travel. Oh, goodness knows where we used to land up. Yeah, Italy, all the places.
Oh, Europe mostly.
Yeah, Europe. Yeah. And I do miss, because I used to love travelling, but I can't go now. But I like going up into Wales. I do manage to get up there. Kelly, my granddaughter, took me the last time, and we went to Llandudno, which was lovely. I love it up there. I love going to Llandudno. So I've got to be thankful for that.
Quickly think if there's anything else. I think that's marvellous, Marge. Thank you
don't.
So much. You don't?
I certainly don't.
I just want to say for the
it was coming to
the public that normally
Is it coming out? Can I hear what it says or not?
I think you can, yes. And
And
if we're not happy, we'll do it again. But normally Marge and I are laughing and laughing when we're talking. Anyway, I think that was lovely. I think you painted a marvellous
Well, what
picture.
do they want to know all that for?
Because it's so different now, isn't it? There are cars. I mean, you must have had Vern making that little red car. Must have been a relatively early
It was
car.
a part or something, but he built it all up, you know, and however we got to Germany and back in that car, I shall never know. I honestly won't. And then we had a bit bigger one, a Morris thing with the hood down, and we went to Germany. We went all over the place with it, and we used to have the hood down and our cases in the back, and we'd leave the car in different places, and nobody ever touched it. It was, you know, we didn't have any problems at all.
What sort of car did you have when the children were travelling with you?
We took them to Germany in a VW. Yeah. And we went to the East, you know, what do they call it now?
Well, East Germany.
East Germany,
Yes.
yeah. Oh gosh, and to get through the
Checkpoint Charlie?
yeah, oh God. No, not Checkpoint Charlie, but to get into the East, they, were just shocking, and when you got there it was awful. They hadn't got anything. It was really, there was nothing there for the kids, not in the way of and we had them with us. But it was, gosh, I couldn't wait till we came back over into the west again, yeah.
On these trips, were you visiting Vern's relations?
We did, yeah. But the last time, it all went, it didn't go right at all, and they never sent us the things back in time to let us get in there, because they were in the east there. But but we did see them once, yeah. Yeah.
And am I right in thinking that Vern worked for Cadbury's on the lorries?
He worked at Bengry's first for 21 years. Yeah, and then are we still doing it?
Yes, fine, yeah. It's lovely. No, it's lovely.
What were we saying?
That Vern worked for Bengry's here in Kingsland for 21 years.
Yeah, and the same for Cadbury's, which was the best thing he ever did.
To change to Cadbury's. Yes.
Very good firm to work for. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
But
when I came up the other day, you showed me some books for ordering your groceries from the shop.
oh yeah, they're a bit tattered now. They're not very. But I kept them. I used to write my list out of what I wanted from the shop and leave it there, and then go later and get shopping, which was good. And I used to write down, well, in the books what I wanted, but and I still kept the books, but they've gone a bit
Not surprising.
not too good to look at, but it's all right.
And the surprise is, of course, well, not a surprise, but the amounts were very, very small, and you were a family of 4. Did you already still have your parents living with you when the children were born?
No, my mother died when she was 49. She died, yeah.
But your father was living with you
Yes,
after you married?
But when he lost Mum, he went to pieces. We had quite a picnic with him, I'm afraid, but...
and all the time you were all living here?
Yeah.
And had he died before Helen was born?
Just.
No.
Yes, yeah.
Do you remember when the main drains came through the village, the sewer?
Yes, I can remember taking my... Now let me see. My cousin's son. He was a little boy when we walked him down the village to where Nancy, Roland Jones' mother lived.
Yeah.
And I was with my sister and cousin, I think it was, and we got him out of the pram to tidy the pram up, and he disappeared, and he fell into the drain, and he was covered, and we took him into Nancy's mother's place and cleaned him up. Yeah, I always remember him falling in there.
Were you forgiven?
But Nancy, the house where she lived in, was nice, that black and white house.
Poplar Cottage,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Gone now.
Yes, it's gone. But I was very, very friendly with Nan for a long time, but when things changed after a bit, but she got married to Roland Roland Jones, yeah. I got some nice photographs of her and me down at the riverside.
Oh, I'd love to see those. Yeah.
I got so many photographs here.
Perhaps we could look at the photos on another afternoon.
Yeah, I got so many of them, and a lot of here from Germany. I don't quite know how to. I mean, I don't really want them. I mean, I don't understand them, but whether any of the relations in Germany want them.
Have to try.
Yeah.
See if you can contact someone.
Yeah.
Just going back a little bit, before the piece of ground was given by Captain Henry Williams as a playing field by the hall, where did you, main events like the May Queen and parades and things, you say Jack Price organised?
Yeah, well, it used to come down through the village and into the greens, and that's where we had all the, what do they call it when they have a...
Is it like a fete?
A fete, yeah. No, it's not called a fete, but similar sort of thing, you know. And it was lovely. All the people dressed up in their, you know, their clothes, and it was really exciting. You know, we used to really enjoy that.
How would you get onto the greens in those days? Would you go towards the church and go in on the right?
Go in by Guyner's place. You know, up that.
Oh, up the alley?
Up the alley.
The warm wall. What about a vehicle, though? Say to get the cart on.
Oh, they'd go in by the church there.
Yeah.
Where John used to bring the cattle out and up.
Can you tell us a little about the cattle going up and down?
Yeah, the cattle used to be fetched out of which we called the greens at that time, and bring them up the road here, and it was it was the thing to do, you know. We didn't know any different, and up would come the cows. They'd make a mess sometimes all over the road, but nobody seemed to bother about it. No, took it all in its stride. Yeah. But John was you always knew when he was coming because he was always whistling. He could whistle all the time. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm getting lost for work. No.
I think that's absolutely lovely, Marge. Thank you. We're just having a follow-up to our interview of 2-3 weeks ago. The date today is the 2nd of February 2019, and we're at Ryecroft, Kingsland, which is her home. Marge, you were going to tell me about the hop picking.
Yes, okay. For several years we went hop picking at Mr. Pudge's farm at Street. We would go on a bus, on Mr. Markham's bus. He would pick us up at the crossroads to bring us home at night. We used to pick the hops to get some money to buy our winter coats, and we were paid in one go at the very end of the season. One year my sister and I took our earnings to Leominster. We went by train from Kingsland Station, a journey of about 10 minutes. We bought new coats from a shop on the high street. When we come home, we were told that there was a fire at the clubhouse at Croftmead. We threw our coats on the doorstep, and ran up to see what was going on.
And I understand that this tennis club and the clubhouse and the courts were on Mrs. Nicholson's land,
Yes,
and she
Miss-
generously let the village just use them.
That's right.
And you knew Mrs. Nicholson well.
I knew Mrs. Nicholson very well. She's a very nice lady. We used to go out sometimes. She'd say, we'll go out and have some lunch. So off we used to go, and Mr. Markham used to take us in his car.
You said he used to point things out on the way.
Yeah, Mr. Markham always used to tell us where everybody lived going along the road. Yeah, and he'd come and have some lunch with us, which was very interesting and good.
And I think you looked after Croftmead for many years,
I
did you? After Mrs. Nicholson died.
Yeah, I used to work for Mrs. Nicholson, and I worked there for a long time, and we got on very well.
That's lovely. Well, Marge, thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with me again. I'm going to press the off button now.
Well, it's